Hello everyone, and welcome to the Great Video Game Inventory Project. I am your host, Justin, and today's entry is Actraiser for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So we're going to go ahead and start a new game here. So in this game, you play as the Master, and you have to fight your mortal enemy, Tanzra. In the Japanese version, you're actually explicitly referred to as God, and Tanzra is referred to as Satan. So we have to pick a name here, and I've decided that, whenever applicable, our name is going to be Ragealope. What is a Ragealope, you ask? Well, it is an antelope that is very angry. So Exposition Angel lets us know about Tanzra and that he sealed our power and we need to go and kill all these monsters. So here's our main menu here. Actually, as a kid, it took me a while to figure out where to actually go. We go here to fight monsters. And this sends us into our action phase. We start in Fillmore, which is a foresty-like area with awesome music. As you can probably tell, I'm very familiar with this game. It's one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. Played it 100 times. Also, if you're a child of the 90s, like myself, you may recognize this game because it was a popular entry on the show Nick Arcade, which is kind of weird because it's not an arcade game at all. But this game is pretty basic for a 2D action platformer. You run, jump around, slash things. Controls are really tight. It's developed by Quintet and published by Enix back when they were a separate entity from Square. So we just hop around in this forest. First level, so really simple. Health items are apples. You get either half apples or whole apples. One thing that's sort of noticeable about Quintet is that they like to reuse sounds. Well, I have some other Quintet games in my collection, so we'll be hearing some of those later. So this is our first boss, the Centaur. He's really quite easy. Really the best way to beat him is just go over here to this brown part and lame him out. He doesn't like coming over there. And he's dead. Not quite. Now he's dead. And of course, while he's exploding, you gotta rapidly slash him. It's a requirement. So now that we've cleared the action phase, we are going to move to the simulation phase. We create these two little people here. Now Exposition Angel comes back in, tells us we need to develop the land. So they tell us that there are a lot of bushes around, so we need to get rid of them. They look more like trees to me, but whatever. So we can use our lightning here. To clear out the bushes. And while we're doing that, we're going to set our building direction over here. That little circle here is a monster lair, monsters pop out of it, so obviously they're bad. These monsters will come and attack our developing town, so we've got to go and kill them while we're sealing these layers. It adds a bit of an action element, so it's not too far removed from the action sequence before it. Because I'm sure a lot of people, first time playing this, was sort of confused that it went from a 2D side-scroller to a sim type. But this is what really makes this game unique. And what's really cool is how the two modes play off of each other. Because the max score that you get in the action sequences actually influences the max population of the town. And the max population you have in your towns influences your maximum health for the action points. So it has two genres that are really sort of opposing, but they complement each other pretty well. And in addition to that, it also actually gives points earned in action stages, like, meaning, because there are a lot of games in this era where you track points, but points don't really do anything. So it really does encourage the player to do well in both the action stages and the sim stages. This is actually the guy speaking too. They don't make it that clear, but if you follow the sort of story, it becomes clear later. So now we are going to develop the town towards this other monster layer over here. And this guy's trying to abduct some of my guys. Ah, stop it, you stupid dragon. You may have noticed this game actually does have a little bit of slowdown whenever the town is under construction, because the system has to take a second to figure out what it's actually doing. So really, this earliest phase in the game is actually probably one of the harder development scenarios to actually do perfectly, just because the monster layers are so spread out. Okay, so a fire is broken out over here, but I have to wait until I'm done sealing the monsters layer, because nothing can happen until that's done. Okay, so we just got a message that the civilization level increased, which means that they will build houses faster. Little commentary on humanity there. But they build houses faster, and each house will be worth more population. So getting your population level up as fast as possible is a good thing to do. I'm out of SP. You gain SP by killing enemies, mainly. Let's see, I got... my townspeople are being abducted. Grr. Stop it. Yay! So now you can see I reached a population level benchmark, so it adds to my health for the action sequences. Arr, die, you stupid dragon, whatever. Okay, we've got more SP now, so let's lightning the crap out of some trees, bushes. There must be some really big bushes. It's also a nice touch that the enemies will actually die if they run into your lightning while it's going. So we're going to build over there and then down to this monster lair. Because unfortunately right now my town is kind of stupid. So they don't know how to build bridges yet. But you'll see with the increased civilization level, now we've got wood houses instead of straw ones. Actraiser follows the Three Little Pigs school of architecture. So it's telling you that under the big rock below the precipice southeast of here. So it gives you a little hint here. You can actually do this before they give you the hint. I just momentarily forgot about it. So you can use lightning over here. And that triggers the scene here. And they give us a magic token. Now, how magic works is that you need to find a magic scroll first, and then you need magic tokens to use them during the action phase. Magic in this game is very good, especially Stardust in particular. Any person who has played this game probably remembers that, and how incredibly overpowered it is, especially against certain bosses. No, no! Stupid dragons. I hate those stupid dragons. Of course, later you get to find skulls, and they're even worse. I hate skulls, because they take forever to kill. And I also do the two on the top first, because they're spaced really far away. And since these two are pretty close, once they're the only two left, they're not that difficult to regulate. That guy became a field. I do like how they sort of just walk out, raise their arms, and they become whatever they're trying to build. So now they become fishermen and they find a magic scroll for us. So now we're capable of using magic. Come back here, you stupid bat. It's best to kill the enemies right after they spawn, because there's a short time before their AI activates, so you can just smack them. Like this dragon over here who's just sitting there idly. Satisfying sound. So they find a bow and arrow, and you can use this item. What it does is it actually raises Angel's attack power for a little bit. So now that you have sealed all of the monster layers on this side, they finally learned how to build bridges. You'll see that one has magically appeared there. So we are going to develop the city so we can get rid of these stupid dragons. And now that that's the last one left, we can just camp here. Kill this dragon over and over again until they seal the monster lair. Ah! Crafty one. Come on. Ha! See ya. And the civilization level improved once again. So he's having a nightmare of a minotaur. All of the cities in Actraiser are clearly based on real-life places. Fillmore is Greece, mainly due to the fact that that the bosses are a centaur and a minotaur. So normally I would spend a lot of time developing Fillmore before I go to the second action phase of Fillmore, but in the interest of time, I'm probably just gonna level up to the next population level, which I think is 400, so it's not gonna take like any time at all, and then go to the Fillmore second action sequence, which is in this big hole over here. This is really the most boring part of the game because there are no monsters to fight, and you're just sort of waiting for them to develop the town. But as long as at least 5 people are stepping out at a time, it's usually not that bad. And you'll see now that we have brick houses. So we've gone from straw huts to wooden cabins to brick houses. God hates greenery, roar! You've got to be careful though while using those, because you can actually lightning your own town and it'll cause the villages to catch on fire. Oh, that guy's going far away. And, yay! Actually, in order to get to the highest level, you have to earthquake one of your towns so that they build the better houses. But for now, we are going to go on to Fillmore Act 2. So we go back up here. Since we've sealed all the monster layers, we've got the Act 2 available to us. So we going. You can do it as soon as you want after you seal all the monster layers in a town. So here's Fillmore Act 2. It's in a cave. It's really useful that there was a statue down there. This isn't my favorite stage in the game, but, I mean, it's alright as a sort of beginning stage. Something that's sort of unusual about Actraiser is that the US version is actually more difficult than the Japanese version. It's usually the other way around. But in the US version of Actraiser, spikes are insta-kill, whereas in Japan, in the Japanese version, they just do a lot of damage. And another thing that's sort of unique about Actraiser as far as games of this era are concerned is that there are branching paths in most of the Act 2 dungeons. In general, the Act 1 stages are outside and the Act 2 stages are inside. But it's kind of unusual for games in this era to have branching paths, just because it takes a lot of memory. So let's see if I get this jump. Yeah! It's actually a pretty precise jump. It leads to a health pickup. Which is good, because we've got to fight this annoying guard dude. He's really not that hard, as long as you don't, like, go ham. If you go ham, he can actually be kind of hard, but... onward! Yo, MLG Pro. So these little mouths on the side here, if you take too long, it'll start spewing out these little red balls, and makes your life much more difficult, so you really want to climb this section as quickly as possible. And those are surprisingly precise jumps for this early in a game. Still though, the control on Actraiser is good enough that I can really forgive it for that. We've got our little discolored spikes at the top. These guys don't even care, they just swoop down. So on to the boss, Minotaur. Really? Strategy for this boss is go ham, because there's no way he's going to outdamage you unless you're extremely careless. Because all of his attacks only do 1 hit point of damage. Yay! Fillmore is clear. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And I think I'm going to show you guys Act 1 of Blood Pool. Yeah, the guy died. Sad times. So now we need to go back to our movement and move over to Blood Pool. So the Blood Pool music is probably some of my favorite 16-bit music ever. It's just so incredibly epic. And I mean, if I thought of 16-bit music in my head, like, this is usually the first thing that comes to mind. Speaking of Actraiser music, all of it is very good, and there's actually a symphonic arrangement that was actually played by a rather illustrious orchestra. I think it may have been the Stockholm Symphony Orchestra. Did a concert of Actraiser music, and it is fantastic. And I would urge you to hunt down those recordings. That's a 1-up up there by the lizard guy, so we're not going to deal with it. I said earlier that all of the regions are based on actual places, and Blood Pool is Britain. Because the first boss is a Manticore. This can be kind of a silly boss, because what he does is whenever he detects that that you're on the same side as him, he switches sides. So the best way to fight him is something like this, where you switch sides every once in a while. Obviously taking care not to get fireballed into the pit. Ah, crap. Like that. If you want to really lame him out, you can just jump when you're at the top and hit him on the opposite side, but that's boring. As far as speedrunning is concerned, there really aren't a lot of runners for this game. The sim portion of the game that makes it interesting is sadly, terrible for speedrunning. So a lot of people don't run it. There is what's called a professional mode that removes that aspect and just has you do the action stages. But you actually have to complete the game at least once in order for that option to be available. And a lot of times speedrunners frown upon having to complete something previously in the game in order to access a mode for speedrunning. There are a couple people that do run professional mode, though. I can't remember any specific names off the top of my head, though. But I'm sure if you search Actraiser speedrun, you can probably find someone. Dead. But I think I'll stop here. So I've given you a brief overview of the game. It's a fantastic game. It is available on Virtual Console, so you don't even have to bother hunting down a Super Nintendo. But I hope you enjoyed this little showcase of Actraiser, and I hope you'll join me for more of my Great Inventory project videos. Next will be Actraiser 2, so keep a lookout for that. This is Justin signing out. Thanks, guys.